All the girls wanna try. Hold on, it's on my mind. Hold it down. Joy's around. Yay! Hey, we're live. All right, all right, all right. Let me just check the volume and make sure we are good to go on this beautiful motivational Monday evening. It's your girl Anaya A, and the present time is 8:41. As you all know, we have special guests that are supposed to be on with us tonight. And one second, I'm getting messages like crazy, and I literally am going to be letting the people in a little bit. So if you all are seeing me online right now, please, please, please do not call, do not text. I cannot take a call right now. On the NIA show, we have to stay focused. We have to stay focused, and we already see several people watching. And tonight, this is going to be a very powerful, powerful show. And the reason why I wanted to do this show is because, you know, when life shows you certain things, you got to go with the flow, you got to go with the spirit. And we're going to be sharing this platform with a lot of our friends throughout the social media world, etc. Because this is a very powerful group of people that I've met in several instances. And then recently, there was a project that was taking place, and I got to meet a few brothers that were spearheading an event that took place, I want to say in Harlem, in the great village of Harlem. And when I heard their story and when I heard the work they're doing, I knew that it was definitely that time for me to communicate with them. And so tonight, if you checked out the flyer, you'll know that we have several powerful brothers from the Garifuna Nation, and they're going to explain to you who they are, what they do, etc. You just heard the beautiful Konsa song by the one and only Felicia Ross, a Haitian American beautiful sister, whom I cannot wait to meet her face to face. Please let her know NIA wants to meet with her, interview her, hang out with her, hopefully sooner than later. So let her know out there, because I know all of you be knowing all of these celebs. If you see me looking to the left and the right, it's because I'm on my Instagram pages as well. So yeah, let's talk real quick. We have 2 minutes before I let these brothers into our session this evening, our Motivational Monday session. And it's been a very great weekend for me. Real quick, just want to do a quick update. It's been a very great weekend for your girl in IIA. I've had so many great things that happened recently. I'm not going to share everything right now. But by next week, I'm going to share a whole lot more. But today I wanted to definitely, send love to all of you out there who showed me so much love this past weekend, and who's constantly showing me love, because I give out love. And my thing is, I love getting love back. I'm such a nerd, I know. So I wanted to shout out some beautiful people. Let me shout out first God, because God is my creator, my way maker, everything. Let me shout out my cousin, Stephanie, who's like my little sister, my little big sister, because sometimes, she thinks she's older than me, even though I'm the oldest. Ow. Well, I'm not the oldest out of all the cousins. It's a long story. But anyway, so Stephanie, I gotta shout her out, show her so much love. Yo, when I tell you we got something going on this weekend, it's gonna be magic. It's gonna be a movie, all that. Let me shout out Skyu, aka Miss Scarlett, who's my right-hand girl. I gotta shout out Mama Dukes. Mama Dukes is coming through this weekend with the little one, Mr. Elijah. If y'all don't know about Elijah, you're gonna find out about that one day. That's my heart. I hope King and Elijah get along very well in the future, because either way, they're brothers in my mind. So they have to get along. So, we're about to start the show. Oh, let me shout out Miss Astrid. Oh my God, Mr. Biko Biko, King Sci-Fi from the motherland, Miss, the one and only Princess Empress Queen, my sister, Miss Lily. Oh my God, Trina, Miss Trina. Who else? My husband, West Suchi, aka Miss Purple Dimple herself, aka Miss Alexis. God, there's so many people to shout out, and I will do a better job shouting everybody out this week. But for now, it's time to let in our brothers. Powerful group of men who are taking the lead in spearheading a project that will encompass getting the land together, getting their people to know more about what's going on in their country, exposing certain truths, and ultimately bringing communities together. And at this time, I'm going to let in my brother, Mr. Alex, aka Mr. Kwabina, who is a brother that I've known for quite some time, as well as Mr. Pablo Blanco. I met each of them in a brother that I've known for quite some time, but recently together at the hub on 125th Street. And I'm getting feedback, so if somebody wants to lower down the mic or something of the sort, because I can be a little loud, but praise God, I'm gonna just let them talk more about themselves. But like I said, I'm so proud of these men, these brothers who are out here in these streets. And let me just share this before we get rolling. When you see powerful Black men spearheading, leading the way, making a difference, we gotta shout them out. We gotta shout them out. They're making changes. And again, the Garifuna people are powerful people. And the reason why I'm so, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so excited, but also so impressed, is because I have known people from Central America most of my life. If y'all know anything about me, you'll know I was born in Brooklyn, but I got kidnapped and sent to South Florida against my will, where I grew up around a lot of like Central American people, and never heard of the Garifuna Nation, the Garifuna people. So when I started meeting one by one in New York, and then I meet like a whole cluster, and of course, y'all know I interviewed Mr. G himself, the one who did the documentary on Dr. Sebi, who's working closely with Nick Cannon. That's my brother, that's my heart. I interviewed him, a couple of weeks ago, and we actually have his cousin with us tonight, who is Mr. Pablo Blanco. So without further ado, they're gonna tell you a lot more about the Garifuna Nation and what we're discussing tonight. Welcome, 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 gentlemen.
We're so happy to be here, Naya. Much blessings and respect and peace towards you. We have a lot of things to discuss because of the commonalities that we have with the Haitian community and the overall Black community in and of itself.
Absolutely. And I know you have the facts and the history down, and you are going to share tonight. And I'm so glad we were able to make this happen, because sometimes in life we have a desire and then things go sideways, which it started to go sideways, but we brought it back together. So I got to know more about the Haitian connection. And of course, we have our brother Alex Kwabena Colon, aka Brother Kwabena. So good to see you. You got the head wrap. Brother Pablo got the gear. Y'all gonna have to tell me about everything tonight. Welcome.
Yes, welcome, my sister. Thank you for having us again, once again, in your presence. And we're honored to be in your midst and also to greet your audience in the spirit of our ancestors. And we say, Ida Hiyangi Mabugania Hum. And in our language, we say, we greet you in peace and tranquility, and we in brotherhood and sisterhood.
I love it. And can you do me a favor? Can you turn up your volume a little bit more, please? Because we want to make sure that everybody catches that, especially what you just shared. So turn it up a little bit louder and repeat your saying to our brothers and sisters. Welcome everybody watching already on Instagram and Facebook. People are watching. Cheers. Oh, it's water, by the way. This is water, ice water. Y'all know I'm pregnant and I'm not drinking nothing but water. Are you able to turn it up a little bit?
You read? I'm trying to find this speaker.
Well,
right.
If you want to get
close.
Okay, yes, I think that's better.
That's better? Okay.
Much better. Can you repeat that saying or that motto or quote?
Of course, the quote, the motto is Buiti Ramboweyu, Mabugonia Hum Niduhim. Leader Abba Isiani. I greet you in peace, my brothers and sisters, in oneness and unity.
All right. And love, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I learned a little something myself. We're going to get to that later because, Lord, I don't want to chop it up in the beginning. I'll wait to the end and I'll share what I learned recently, because you all have your own language. You all have your own dance, your own culture. And it is so imperative for people that don't know who the Garifunas are to know to a deeper extent. But tonight, we have several topics that we're going to be touching on. And I don't know who wants to touch on the first one, the second one, the third one. Either way, I'm just really excited to have these topics as a point of getting the information to you all. I know, Brother Kwabena, you sent me information that you wanted us to talk about. And then don't forget, I also want to know about the connection that we ultimately have with the Haitian people, which I'm pretty sure is going to take a while. So we might have to do a part 2 or part 3 on that to get into those details. But let's jump right into it, because I know, Brother Kwabena, as we discuss some of the things that we're going to talk about, you know, I met you guys and you were having an event. Let's talk about how that event went first. How did that event go recently as you were preparing for that event? How did that go? Let's talk about that first.
Yes, we had a town hall meeting in the Bronx because recently there was a indigenous forum of the People's Indigenous Forum here at the United Nations. Where we had a delegation coming from Garifuna delegation and from Belize, and to be here at the UN in presence of other indigenous people to delegate to discuss issues affecting in regards to human rights, land rights, and issues affecting indigenous people in general, worldwide or nationwide.
Wow.
So the Garifuna Nation was part of that, and our ambassador, our cultural ambassador, Ms. Cynthia Ellis, was representing not only the Belizean government but our Garifuna Nation as well, and I was also part of that delegation. And subsequently, after that delegation, after that UN Indigenous Forum, we had a meeting with our population, the general Garifuna population in the Bronx, a town hall, where we submitted, where we discussed and had a report to our community.
Okay.
Basically, yes, dealing with some of the same topics we're dealing with now, land rights issues, economic development, and our historical, where we stand now as a people, and our future projections.
Excellent. And Brother Pablo, tell us how that experience was for you during that time.
Well, we at the United Nations, I mean, there's several approaches that we have because, well, let me start off by saying this. And when you see Black people, you don't think of indigenous. You know,
Right.
that term indigenous doesn't necessarily apply to Black people, um, but it does. For us, our heritage is linked to the indigenous Caribbean, the Kalina and the Arawak people. And in turn, this is the first connection with the uh, Haitian community because the Taino occupied Haiti at one time, and they're still there, even though they're small in numbers, but they're in the Dominican Republic and also in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
So that's one connection with the Haitian community that,
Yes.
that a lot of people overlook or don't really necessarily associate the link between Taino and Haiti and the indigenous Caribbean.
Excellent. So you were
So
able to attend that meeting too at the UN and then have events at the Bronx as well. You were there for
yes,
both.
yes. So at the event in the Bronx was more of a informational event for the community to let them know what the Garifuna Nation is doing on their behalf,
Okay.
which is several things, as Brother Alex mentioned, economic development, and basically inform the people of the land rights struggle that we're currently having in Belize and in Honduras.
Hmm. So there is a major land rights problem. Let's go to the beginning. Let's go to a little bit of the Garifuna history for those that may not even understand, again, the Garifuna history. And it's a very deep history, which I know you both are well versed in. So either one of you could start it off. We'll just do a couple of minutes or so, like a synopsis of what is the Garifuna history.
Well,
The Garifuna, we could do in the spirit of our ancestors' tenets out of Bunya Murinuni. Alex and I could do a combination of the history. Alex,
yes,
I could start off with the from the 1200s to the 1600s,
correct.
and then and then Alex could take it over from the 1600s to the present.
Wow.
So our history, it's very comprehensive, Sister Anaya. We could link it back to the Mali Songhai Empire or dynasty on in the continent. Now, many people do not realize that a lot of African explorers came over on this side from that side of the world
Mm.
prior to Columbus. Abu Bakari from the Mali dynasty, he sent off close to 200 ships to the Western world. And this is after he made that pilgrimage to Mecca, which he brought back scholars. He built navigational schools in Timbuktu and the Djenné. And he sent African explorers to explore the new world, so to speak. So what ended up happening is that these explorers, they stayed in the Caribbean and they intermarried with the native population there. And that's what yielded or created the Garifuna community that we have now.
And the language that you speak, real quick, did it stem from that time or was it a more recent time? And please break down the language a little bit because people might think, oh, Honduras and all these other countries, Spanish, but no, it's different.
No, before we were in Honduras, we had a very long history in the Lesser Antilles Caribbean, namely Saint Martin, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica, and our stronghold was St. Vincent. That's where
Wow.
all the Garifuna warriors were located. And the reason why I say that is because I spent time at the National Archives of Paris.
Wow.
And the way that they label, because they did land surveys of the territories that the French has conquered. So they labeled us as free Negroes in these land surveys.
And what years were these? Because again, this is a powerful thing to know.
We're talking about 1500s and 1400s.
Yeah.
And a
And
lot
you
of people don't know that.
Exactly. So you all were labeled the free Negroes in the 14th and 15th century.
Correct.
Carry on.
So this is documented history. Persons could go to the Paris National Archives in downtown Paris and look this up themselves. You know, because many times when I make these type of presentations or declarations, people are saying, "Oh, well, you don't know what he's talking about. What is this guy? His name is funny, Pablo Blanco, black guy with the
Right?
Spanish name. There's something going on."
There's something going on here. I too was like, wait, what is your name?
So when we were in the Lesser Antilles from the 1200s, because around the 1290s, 1300s, that's when these voyages started happening. You know, because in Mali at the time, there was like a university center in Mali. So all the
Mali,
schools of
Africa.
thought, correct.
Yes, Mali in Africa. The
Thought
University
were
of Timbuktu, to be precise.
Okay.
The schools of thought were there. All the European explorers went to Mali to study oceanography, astrology, and all these different sciences.
So wait, hold on, pause. You know me, and I think there's some questions coming in. Everybody sending your questions in their comments now, because this is going to be a deep dive real quick. You mean to tell me these white people went to Mali, Africa to
Correct.
study different
Yeah.
topics and
And at
subjects?
the feet of the Africans.
Yes.
This was basically in 1311 AD. And the king of the king from Mali, Mansa Musa and Abu Bakari, basically sent out expeditions and along the coast of under the south into the Cape of Good Hope, through into the Caribbean, where our people dispersed and intermingled with the native inhabitants, and the people united basically journeyed from the Orinoco Basin. Those are the Amerindians, who they so-called call Amerindians, but these are the native inhabitants that migrated from or traveled from that area and traded. So they're bartering and trading. And some of those expeditions never, out of those 13 ships, only one made it back to Africa. The rest stayed out in the Caribbean and populated the world.
Wow.
And yes, so and they intermingled and created free societies. And one of our free societies was called Urume, and that's on the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you. And go ahead, Mr. Pablo Blanco, because this is heavy. It's already heavy. It's already heavy.
Yes, it's a very inconvenient. The Garifuna experienced a very inconvenient truth to white supremacy, because every white supremacy wants everybody to believe that the arrival of Black people in the Western Hemisphere was through the transatlantic slave trade, which is not true.
It's not
Look
true.
at us. Look at us. Look at the mosquito of Nicaragua. We were here way before Columbus, and we have free, independent, thriving society until they arrived.
Correct.
The first intermingling of the Europeans was with the French in the 1600s. We lived with them in the islands, in several islands that they eventually conquered. The Saint Martin, Dominica,
those kind of countries that speak the French.
Guadeloupe. So in 1675, there was a dictionary that was produced by Father Raymond Brett from French. And that dictionary is still in circulation now. You could buy it on Amazon for $100. And he has our language in it, the Garifuna language.
And what year was this established or written or around?
1665.
You see why we have to have these shows, y'all? Because this is so powerful. Real quick, shout outs to Brother Egbert, who's watching, who's saying great session. Brother Egbert, I don't know who you're friends with on here. You're not my friend yet, but you could be my friend if you want. And let the people know that we are talking to the Garifuna Nation, who's educating us tonight. Mama Brenda Dock is also watching. She's from the National Action Network, but she's a powerful activist, and she's on here watching as well. And we have several people watching on Instagram. So let's get this together. I basically in the 1600s, a form of a Bible or some scholarly book was written by some white man out of France somewhere, and it had the Garifuna people in it. And here
Yes.
I am just finding out about Garifuna Nation in 2022.
It was a book. It was a dictionary, a Garifuna language dictionary. It's called the Black Carib Dictionary by Father Raymond Breton.
Amazing.
They refer to us as Black Caribs in the history books, but we don't refer to ourselves as Black Caribs. We refer to ourselves as Garifuna. Garifuna, basically signifying Gari for our staple diet, which is the cassava root, which sustains us.
Gari too. I'm sorry, Gari is a food that's eaten in Africa. And
correct. Yes, and in Africa it's Gari fufu
Gari fufu, yes.
Which is basically the powder. It's powdered, and the powder is something you eat it in powdered form, or they pound it and make it into a dough to eat.
Yes, correct. Wow.
Una.
So Gadi, the prefix of Gadi is the food or cassava, and the suffix una, funa, it meaning people. So cassava eating people. That's what Garifuna is, and that's our link to the continent.
Right, and also people of the red soil, because where we lived in St. Vincent, the soil was rich from the volcanic ash and the fertilized soil, and it was red. And in Garifuna, funati or funati is means red in Garifuna. So this is a rich red soil.
And let me ask you real quick, just for clarity purposes, do you all have like your own like presidents, like your own leaders, your own, like, because I said Garifuna Nation, but is it technically a nation of people, or is it like a cluster, several villages? I know Dr. Sebi was a part of the whole Garifuna like thing, but he lived outside a little bit. But I just want to get a clarity, because when I think about different sectors of people, there's leadership, there's a lot happening, but I wanted to know, is there a breakdown, or are you all spread out throughout the islands?
Well, Garifuna Nation as an entity do have a leadership, an executive body. We have a president, we have a vice president, we have an executive secretary, we have a cultural ambassador. So we do have various leaders in the Garifuna Nation. And we also branch as entity, we also registered in Belize, and we also have we branching out to other entities in Honduras, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Guatemala. So we are a nation beyond both borders, not the physical borders of the colony.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And let me add, Sister Naya, when we say Garifuna Nation, is because we actually are a nation across different borders. As Brother Alex said, we are in St. Vincent, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize. So the largest
here in the diaspora also.
Yes, the largest demographic or population of Garifuna people is here in the South Bronx, where I'm at.
What?
There's more Garifuna people in the South Bronx than in those Central American countries.
No wonder. Let me shout out my sisters, Sister Shani Herrera, Sister Cynthia, and Shani's sister. I gotta look up her name real quick, but they were my first introduction to the Garifuna people from the Bronx. So I think you are onto something. I was like, wait, you have a whole nation, and I thought they were just Black American, you know, and just had different skin tones and things like that, you know, but they're all family and they're all related. But they're like, no, girl, it's a whole lot of us out here. And I just would have never known. So I had to shout them out real quick. So the South Bronx has the most Garifuna people than
The largest Garifuna community outside of Honduras is found in the Bronx and pockets in Brooklyn also. But you also find Garifuna people in Houston, other parts in Texas, in Los Angeles, Chicago,
How about
Boston,
Florida? How about Florida?
Florida, definitely, Miami.
We're in the major cities, Sister
Major
Anaya. We're in a
cities.
total of 22 cities
Wow.
in the United States.
And of course, we maintained our traditions, our culture, our dances, our language, which is essential, and our patterns of behavior. So some of us maintain the culture, the spirituality also, which is another aspect. But others of us acclimated and became organized, went to the organized religion, which is Catholicism or.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Wow, so we are digging deep. Okay, so you left us off with the 1600 like dictionary. So moving forward, I guess this would be the segment for you, Brother Kwabena, or did you have anything else you wanted to share, Brother
Yeah,
Kwabena?
before I hand it over to Brother Alex, I want to say that between 1600s going into the 1700s, that's when the transatlantic slave trade was occurring. So the sugar plantation phenomenon was encroaching upon us for profits. And that's when an influx of kidnapped Africans or enslaved Africans were brought in
I
to
love
the
that.
Caribbean. I use that word kidnap intentionally because that's what happened to our
Exactly.
people. We weren't enslaved necessarily. We were kidnapped from the
Kidnap.
continent. So in looking into our DNA, the Garifuna DNA, Sister Anaya, there's the large percentages of DNA from several countries in the continent. Cameroon, Congo, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. Those five, and Ivory Coast as well. Those 6 countries, rather, the Garifuna people could trace their DNA to those 6 countries. Now we know we are African, but our culture is totally indigenous Caribbean. As you can see, because we speak the language of the indigenous Caribbean, the Taino community is restructuring their language by using the matrilineal side of our language, which is the Arawak side, to
Wow.
restructure their language.
Wow. I'm here for it. I'm here for the education. Shouts out to my brother Thomas Walker, who's watching, who's loving the show tonight. And for all those who are watching, send in your questions and concerns. So I'm loving it. So literally, we could retrace our roots, in other words, all the way back to Africa. And now there's something happening with the language like platform. And there's going to be some reintroducing of the Taino language infiltration. I'm assuming that's what's happening there, because, or is it a combination thing, or how is that going to take place, or has it
Well,
already started taking place?
it already started taking place. There's a linguist from the Taino community in which they're actively restructuring their language based on the Garifuna language because it's relatively very close in nature in regards to syntax and the language structure in of itself.
Wow.
I must also add that there's, in terms of preservation of the Garifuna language, so that for the youth and the younger generation, we already have a mechanism in place via Zoom, where the younger children are being taught the Garifuna language through music, song, and in a fun manner. They learn the basics, the alphabet, and some of the traditional music and the traditional songs and the letters and counting in Garifuna also.
Wow.
So that's already currently happening under the Garifuna University Without Walls.
And why do you think it took so long for these things to be established, besides the racist aspects of America and the world not wanting to have you all more exposed? Why has it taken this long, since 1600 now or so, or maybe 1200 to 1600, or what? That's a lot of time.
Right. For your edification, my sister, because what happened was moving now into the 1796, the British captured about 5,000 Garifuna men, women, and children and imprisoned them on Fort Dorsetshire Hill on the island of St. Vincent, where after they killed our leader, Chief Joseph Chatouillet. So they imprisoned men, women, and children, and then subsequently were moved to an adjacent island called Baliso. On this island, they were left, our people were left to perish and killed and die. Those are died and buried, and those who survived that basically Holocaust were then placed on 11 British ships and exiled to Central America, basically Roatan, Honduras. Of those who survived that journey, about 2,500 of these people, of our Garifuna people, only about 2,050 survived and made it ashore from that
So wait, hold
genocide.
on 1 second. Let me just get this clear. Let me get this clear. Your people, 5,000 or so, were kidnapped, literally.
They weren't kidnapped. They were gathered and placed and imprisoned after they killed off our.
Brought to a whole nother.
Yes, a whole nother island called a whole nother island off the coast of Central America, Honduras.
And then
because we lost the war with the British, they killed our leader.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And then, so those who stayed back in St. Vincent were never allowed to speak the language. If they were caught, if they were caught and speaking the language, they would be shot on the spot and killed. So that led to the downfall of the Garifuna language in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So those of us who made it to Central America and dispersed kept our culture and the language intact.
So this was in result of a war that took place.
As a result, yes, an onslaught war, onslaught of war between the British and the French. First, we fought the French on St. Vincent, and then the French basically gave up, and we had a treaties with the French, and then they handed over the island to the British, and we continued fighting the British also.
Right.
And they simply killed our leader.
Unbelievable. I'm talking about, this is a whole movie. And the people that were left continued their traditions and continued to live and grow, obviously, because the nation still rises.
Correct.
Yes, something else that we have to highlight, Sister Naya and Brother Alex. I mean, we were allies first with the French because they used to send us arms and ammunitions from St. Lucia to fight the British. So when the French gave up, you know, it was because we were fighting in unison against the British, right? But eventually we lost, they gave up on us, and they divided like the land in St. Vincent amongst themselves, because there's some French people over there in St. Vincent.
Yes.
But eventually we were gathered, like, as Alex alluded to an island off the coast of St. Vincent called Baliso. And there's another island called Batavia, in which some Garifuna people ended up there too, in concentration camps with no food, shelter, water. We were basically left there to die. I mean, it's our Holocaust. It's our experience is akin to the Jewish experience.
And nobody ever hears about the Black Holocaust, the Black treatment, or neither.
I wouldn't call it a Holocaust. It was more of a Holocaust.
Holocaust, absolutely. Which is why another reason is for me to do this platform, to do these types of shows, so we can expose a lot of this information to our communities who have no idea. I love history, I love information, I love my people so much. So when I come across information of this sort, I'm like, can we talk about it, please? And can we share it? And I love the fact that you all are able to share this with us. If you're tuning in right now, it's the NIA Show Live. We have brother Alex Quabina Colon, whom I've known for some time. And I would just see him when we would work together in the hub, not knowing everything that he was about. He has joined NIA on several platforms that I've had shows and educated the people. Then I realized, oh, this brother is pretty deep. He knows a whole lot of stuff. And then one day I was there at the hub. I don't know what myself and Mr. Biko were talking about. and they were having a meeting, a group of Black men with suits and, bags and just information being passed on. And I know myself and my sister Samantha and Brother Pico were kind of curious, but Brother Pico knew that it was the Garifuna community working on something amazing. And so when you all stepped out, Mr. Pablo Blanco was there, Brother Wellington Ramos, I know I kept messing up and calling him William, and there was a couple of other brothers, and they were preparing you all for an amazing event. So I just wanted to catch people up to speed who are watching. We have Aisha watching on Instagram, Thomas Tallboy, Mr. Tallboy himself watching. And again, we have several people watching on Facebook now. So I like to always share the commentary with the community who's possibly just joining, or even when they replay, they'll know exactly why we're doing this today. So moving forward, tell us more, because this is quite fascinating.
Let me also add, on March 11th, that was 1797, the British, after they gathered up our folks on Balisau and forcibly removed our people to the island, as the ships were moving away from further away, we landed first in Jamaica as a rest stop, and then proceeded to Roatan, Honduras, because of course Jamaica was still owned by the British then, and we landed in Honduras April 12th, 1797.
And these facts are all documented somewhere. Where
it's all documented.
Can you find these documents and facts?
And as the ship was moving away, far away, and the people seeing that a land that they're probably never going to come back to, they started in our community, or in their language, started lamenting and reminiscing or reflecting to say that, in their language, saying that we're moving, we're traveling to a land far, far away, and hoping that we can gather together as a community, or find other Garifunas Garifuna people like ourselves, so that we can resettle and come together as one. And they start, as the ship was moving further and further away, they started singing this song, which I'll play to the drums. You make it baby, I'm
That Ayi Bobo right there, baby. Wow! I feel the power of the ancestors. I started to move. The baby started to move. I felt it. Oh my God, I have chills. That is calling on the ancestors. That's that genuine power. Ooh. Look, Ayi Bobo.
Yes,
So, Sister Anaya, through my research and through my curiosity, I started. I'm very big on. First of all, I'm very big on self-analysis, self-reflection, and self-improvement. Right. I found out that my ancestors survived that experience from Balisau to Jamaica to Roatan, which took 30 days. From St. Vincent to Honduras, to Punta Gorda, Honduras. They survived that experience.
So they
I got
went
their names.
from Honduras to St. Vincent and back?
Vincent.
They went from Balisau, St. Vincent,
okay,
to Jamaica, for a rest stop. And then from Jamaica, they went to Roatan.
They carried them forward to Roatan. Never to come back, never to see the land, their homeland again.
Their homeland again.
So this journey started on March 11th and it ended on April 12th,
When they
1797.
arrived to Roatan, Honduras.
Now, let me ask you, how are you all getting these statistics and these facts? Because this is profound stuff.
Well, we're one of the highest documented indigenous communities.
Right.
We're here in the Schaumburg on 135th, 135th and Lenox.
Yeah, Wikipedia
There's a lot
also.
of information. There's a lot of information about us in the Schwarzkopf Library on 42nd Street and Fifth Avenue. And in total, in the New York Public Library system, we have close to 1,000 entries about the Garifuna experience.
You see what I'm saying? You see how this sister who loves Black people didn't even know about this? This is why, again, we do this real quick. We got a message from the one and only Mr. G, who is loving the show tonight. And that's an honor for me because we all know Mr. G is on point with it. And he's like, that's my cousin. Okay. Shout out to the cousin.
Salute, brother.
Salute.
Shout out to Mr. G.
Yo,
And what he's doing. I mean, I admire him. He's family, so I admire what he's doing in regards to broadcasting our message out there. And we're still waiting for that documentary. We have the book out about Dr. Sabi.
yes.
We're still waiting for that documentary, brother. We're here waiting to support as usual.
We know a lot of people don't want that documentary to be out. We know
Right.
the truth, but guess what? We're gonna keep fighting until we get that thing out. And you know, I'm on board with all of these things because it means so much to me for us to get back on track with our health, mental, physical, emotional. You know, we could take this to the next level. But anyway,
Absolutely. Brother, Sister Naya, I gotta mention that
talk to me.
brothers Nipsey Hussle, he talked about Dr. Sabi on Hot 97. So I want to point that out. Prior to his transition, he mentioned Dr. Sabi and the powerfulness
Yes.
of his nutritional information that he was trying to gather and disseminate to the rest of the community, because I believe that we are being lied to by the pharmaceutical and medical establishment in regard to all these sicknesses that a lot of Black people suffer from. It's documented how many people Dr. Sabi has cured.
Absolutely.
Using his framework.
And
Right.
he lived in the Garifuna village area. It starts with an S, if I'm not mistaken. He lived like in this area that literally was 6 miles away from Mr. G's home. Like,
Right, Sambo Creek.
Yeah.
What
It's
is
called
it?
Sambo Creek.
There you go.
Actually, his compound was called OSHA. OSHA.
Osha. There you go. So could you imagine how the ancestors are moving, no matter what they try to do to us? Because I have a strong feeling that Dr. Sabi didn't pass the way they're saying, and also Nipsey Hussle. There's a lot behind that, which I try to be very discreet about speaking on, because obviously our lives are always, you know.
Of course.
But
Understood.
offline, we'll talk more about that for
Yes,
sure.
certainly.
In the interim, let's get back to your community and how can you motivate others like myself? I don't need motivation. I need them out there who's listening tonight, especially the young people, to be motivated to learn something. Put the guns down, put the crack pipes down, learn about your history. I always say, if you don't know where you came from, you really don't know where you're going. So how can you all motivate the people? Because this is so powerful.
So, Sister Anaya, I made a trip to Santa Rosa de Aguan, which is my hometown in Honduras. And I visited with my one of my aunts, and she's been doing research in regards to my lineage, the Ariola lineage. And as I mentioned earlier, Juan, Sebastian, and Sylvia Ariola, they survived that journey from St. Vincent to Jamaica and then Roatan, and then to mainland Honduras. So these three siblings, they found in my community in Honduras, Juan, Sebastian, and Sylvia Ariola. So during that whole process of founding Santa Rosa de Aguan, as we dig into the research, there were Haitian warships conducting military exercises for the Haitian Revolution. in 1797.
Because 1804 was right around the corner.
Exactly. So the Haitian people was preparing for the war because they had the most powerful military at the time.
Mm.
So they intermarried or intermingled with the Garifuna people
Right.
off the coast of Trujillo Bay, because we see Haitian, French names within the Garifuna community, such as Roches, Sanchez, and there's other Haitian or French
Duvalier.
inspired surnames.
Right, and we
And
also had
the,
Garifuna, actually the men from the who were part of the Paramount Chiefs Chatouilles military contingent,
Wow.
also moving and fighting with their brothers in Haiti, which because all those Caribbean islands were
But
connected.
we could be related. I feel like I see a connection with both of you.
Well, we are all connected. We are connected physically and spiritually at some point.
well, here's the thing, Sister Naya.
Yes, sir.
Henry Christoph from Grenada put a call out
Oh,
to
he's
the
from
Garifuna. Yes, Henry
Christophe
Christoph.
was from Grenada.
Yes. So he put a call out to Garifuna warriors in St. Vincent. Do you guys want to get down with us to get these crackers out of here? So Garifuna warriors went along with Henry Christoph to Haiti.
That's
So the
it.
last name, the surname Duvalier
Duvalier.
can be traced to St. Vincent, because that's not a Haitian last name.
And you know what? Here's the funny part. A lot of people want to know where I'm from when they hear my last name, because my last name is not Haitian. But I'm glad you brought that up, because our Haitian community is so intertwined and intermingled. Like you're saying, because they were the first technically freed nation, but obviously the Garifuna was the first Black freed Negroes, which is news to me. I mean, and that's why we have to do these types of research. What happened was there was so much intermingling with the Haitian community, spreading from all different places. And even in my family, I'm sharing this publicly for the first time. My grandfather on my mom's side was actually a part of the French aristocratic community. And he left France and was tired of what they were doing out there and just felt this connection to the Black Haitians of Haiti, and left his riches and money and came into Haiti and ended up meeting my grandmother. How do I know? Nobody even told me this. The ancestors spoke with me one night. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I get up and I start researching my own last name, my mom's maiden last name, to find out, why am I researching this? And when I put in his name and his lineage, I got this information and I was floored and flabbergasted, and it was confirmed. So the Haitian people, because of their power and skill set, obviously intermingled with others that were equally as strong or stronger. And although they have that title, but I knew in my heart it was other communities that helped with that process. And now you're confirming that as well. So they
Yes.
did go off into different communities, get the training, get the associations, and they built themselves up, in other words, in working to get this freedom. Because then they went back and gave back to so many countries. I don't know if you all know about that. They gave back in so many different countries. And I also wondered about that. So you're confirming why my Haitian leaders and ancestors did that, because they probably felt like they owed.
Yes, a sense of gratitude.
Sense of gratitude in giving back. And then
Right.
we also learned recently, well, myself and a few others learned that our Haitian colors from our flag is actually in several different flags in the Caribbean.
Correct, including the Belize flag. Belize flag is red, white, and blue, just like the Haitian flag, but with two men, sub umbra floreo, means under the tree we flourish, which is a mahogany tree.
Under the tree we flourish. I love it. Woo, this is, woo, thank you, Lord. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you. I love it.
Yes, but
And
to add, Sister Anaya, you're saying how can young people get involved and be and add to this? I mean, right now in their limited space, social media is very vital, because just by Googling and YouTube itself, you can travel places through YouTube.
Yes.
I mean, YouTube now is showing like our reenactments of our arrival to Central America. November 19th is one of those crucial days where we do a reenactment of the boats. They come out and they come in there with their drums and their cassava bread, cassava sticks, and they do a procession into the community. That's all. That's a whole, dynamic.
When is that going to be again? Please
That's every November 19th in Belize. In Guatemala, it's celebrated on November 26th. In Honduras, it's celebrated on the actual April 12th, which is the arrival of the Garifuna in Honduras, Afrodescendientes. And it's also celebrated in Nicaragua, November 19th. And subsequently here also, there's a festivities done here also in New York around that time. And in Belize, there's also the Battle of the Drums Secretariat, where communities from Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, various Garifuna communities in Belize come together and drum in a competitive manner and dance and do cultural presentations. It's also in YouTube, which you can capture on.
And let me ask you, Brother Kwabena, your whole setup today, because you're typically in a suit. Yes. Let's talk about the head wrap. Let's talk about the gear. Let's talk about it.
Yes, certainly. I'm wearing what's, of course, in our traditional cultural wear, which what the men wear is of course in the African American tradition they call it the shiki.
The shiki.
The shiki. That's what it's called.
Dashiki. Yes.
Shiki, correct. Right, but we Garifuna men, we also wear our own style with our Garifuna colors, which is yellow, black, and white. If you notice, that's the color of the Garifuna flag. Black standing for the people, our people, African people. Yellow for the sun that nourishes our soil and nourishes us. Yes. And white, and the white stands for peace and prosperity.
I love it. Yes. I love it.
So then,
and Haitian people also wrap their hair like what you have going on. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of people want to say negative things about voodooism and the spirituality of IET. But for me, like we were discussing yesterday at a very special event we had together at the event at the Hub, for me, what I don't like about like white America and Christianity is they have made our culture, and Brother Pablo already knows where I'm going with this, into something demonic or not nice, etc. When even in the Bible, there's a lot of spirituality, a lot of what they would call black magic, but it really isn't. It's literally utilizing the powers of God to call forces in and things of that nature. Now, some people have taken the good energy and turned it negative. I'm not going to discount that. However, for us here, explain the white head gear.
Right, the head wrap. The head wrap is to cover the temple, because your body, your body is basically a temple. So your head is the head wrap is symbolizes to cover that dome.
Yes.
Which is your mind and your spiritual center. So you cover your head as a symbol, or as to cover, to be basically to cover that dome, which is your mind, your mind and your spiritual, and to keep you centered.
Absolutely, I love it. That is powerful because it is white. You know, I know a lot of Haitian people do this, and I never really questioned it because I grew up in a very interesting place of Haiti. I wasn't born in Haiti, but it's a long story. Let's not go there. But anyway, I know they do this a lot, and I never stopped to ask. You know, growing up, they tell you not to ask no questions, so you just keep on moving. Okay, but I get it. It signifies protection, correct, like covering your aura, your dome,
right, yes,
etc. All right, I love that. Thank you. And for you, Pablo, what are you wearing this evening? Because I feel like it's a part of your nation as well.
Yes, so this shirt is very significant. Garifuna men usually wear these type of shirts during our gathering. This one is, I was told, well, it's from Santa Fe, Guiriga, which is one of 48 Garifuna communities in Honduras. Wow. And this is what the dignitaries in the Garifuna nation wear during our special events and ceremonies. I also want to add that the color red is very significant to the Garifuna people because we have several um, dances. It's not a dance, ceremonies. We have several ceremonies in which we honor the ancestors and we
Yes,
give them food. We lay down food and we start singing our ancestral songs and we
yes,
wear red. So red is a very interesting color in the Caribbean of itself because that is linked to the Saladoid people, and these are the people, the ancient people of the Caribbean,
absolutely.
and they wear red. I mean, red is prominent in the flag of Trinidad. You know,
Yep.
because the Saladoid people resided there. Like this is we're talking about 20,000 years ago. So that to us,
20,000.
yes.
We have to do a part 2 and a part 3 because all of these.
So, Sister Adaya, let me give you another fun fact about the Haitian connection to the Americas, to the overall Americas. I mean,
Okay.
they helped Simon Bolivar try to liberate or create a Gran Colombia, which is the countries of present-day Colombia, Panama, and I believe Venezuela. They wanted
Okay.
to make that their own separate state
Mm.
outside of the rest of the country. So I think it was Toussaint Louverture that told Simon Bolivar, you know, you don't have to pay us any type of monetary
Yeah,
thing. You know,
restitution.
just free the slaves that are currently there. And
Wow.
this is during the time in the 1700s, I believe.
Yeah, it's documented also.
See, we have to do more together. After I give birth to the little king, literally, I'll be back in these streets hard because this is what I'm the most passionate about. I kid you not, because we're not taught these things in school. May I just add? That's why I asked, how do we motivate the young people? How do we motivate our community?
Yeah.
There's so much negativity around us that nobody wants to talk about these things, but I'm that person that's like, no, we're going to talk about this. We're going to implement this somewhere. And there's going to be a child or two who is going to feel enamored enough to learn and grow more. Because my son, who's going to be a Black king, is going to know about his, both sides coming from Africa and Haiti. He's going to get that education so he can stand proud in himself and know what he's worth. And all of our Black kings and queens should have these experiences as well. So I'm going to speak it into the universe that we as a community have literally joined forces, and we're going to do a lot more together to empower each other, to love one another, and also to share this wealth of knowledge, because and I have goosebumps all over my body. And people don't understand, because again, I grew up, a part of my life grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida, Lake Worth, Florida. That is a huge Honduras population, El Salvadorians. I mean, from everything from pupusas to everything jalapeno to salsa, merengue, punta, bachata. It was all right there. But again, I may say, I never met a Black Honduran, a Black El Salvadorian, a Black nothing in this community. And so Garifuna was like, when I got back to New York as a whole adult, and I'm like, how did this happen? But I feel like you all have your communities and you have your strong ethical background, and you're so educated and so passionate that, sticking together is, I think, something that you all do. Am I right about that? Like, y'all really stick together.
Oh
Well,
yeah, for the most part, yes.
Yes.
absolutely. We have our spiritual system is called Ugulendu,
So
and
talk about that, because I picked up. Okay, so you see, I'm on the right track. I felt it, y'all. Talk about this spiritual system. Go ahead.
so the spiritual system is called Ugulendu. I see a lot of similarities to the Yoruba system.
Yeah.
It's akin to that. I mean, we're actively researching this. So what I can say is that we have 27 ceremonies during that in that spiritual system, and each ceremony has its own song. Like
Wow.
the top two that we still practice in the community now is called Dugu and Chugu, in which we pay reverence to our ancestors.
Wow.
during those ceremonies. So we have songs that go back as far as 800 years ago in the community
Wow.
that we
And we
still
also
practice now.
have a sacred ancestral house of worship, which is called the Buyaba, where we have our
Repeat it. What is it called?
tradition.
Ensayuaba?
It's called the Buyaba.
Gayuba.
Buyaba.
Dayu.
Buyaba.
Thank you.
It's our ancestral house of worship, where gather some. If we're having offerings of thanks, families from the United States will be invited, and for healing and transition, and we call them the spirits of our ancestors to be with us and to bless us for that day. And sometimes they have a whole week-long session, and after that, you know, things might be revealed through dreams, and the priest or the priestess would exercise certain, you know, traditional rituals, and a healing would take place.
I
This
love it.
this coming August, Sister Naya, I'll be traveling to Honduras to engage in the good, which is the spiritual healing or cleansing of the family. My Ariola family is having one in August in Honduras, so I have to make a trip for that.
I love it. And talk to us about what do you see next for your, okay, let's talk about now, I guess the team of people that you work with. Are you all a team, or is it a community of leaders? Or when I met you all, you were all working on the land, getting the land back, reparations. Tell us about that a little bit, if you can. If you cannot, if it's hush hush, I get it. But I need to know more about this agriculture, land reparations, because that was so powerful. And let me just share this with those that are watching too. It's very rare that you'll see a community stand up against the grain, against opposition, and say, we're declaring that we're going to get our reparations, because others have tried it and they failed. But it looks like you guys are serious. So talk to us about that as well. That's a
Well,
starter.
well, the thing is, Sister Naya, you know, we have a history of dealing with white supremacy,
Okay.
and we have beaten it. You know, that's documented fact that we have beaten the white supremacy in the 1600s, 1700s, and our resistance is ongoing. You
Ongoing.
know, and it's up to the men of the community to step up. I mean, I know Brother Alex is very passionate about our liberation, so am I. But I found out, and I found a place in which I'm around other Black men that are as passionate of our liberation as I am.
I love it.
So we are trying to organize the community. You know, we have the Garifuna Nation, which is the organization, the umbrella organization, and which the persons could log onto the website and find out more about us at garifunanation.org. And we have an educational arm called Garifuna University Without Walls, in which we educate people in our language. And we have classes that are akin to the Garifuna experience. First is the language, and we have a critical thinking class. We had an indigenous law class last semester. So all these different things are working in unison to align our people to get on board to the fight of what will eventually end up being our reparation fight.
We also have a lands committee that deals with land rights.
Land rights committee. I love it.
Committee, right? Land rights committee, which you know, deals with our indigenous right and our right to autonomy as a Garifuna nation.
I love that. These brothers are not joking with you guys. Let me just share that my sister Darlene said, I look beautiful tonight. Thank you, boo. I try to be cute for you all tonight. We represent some strong information and knowledge. And also, Mr. G, cousin over here said, you know, Alex Kwabena Cologne is the truth. So he shouts you out as well. So I love that. Everybody is well connected. And then on Instagram, of course, I got my brother Thomas Walker trying to find out if I ever practice voodoo. No, I have not, but it is a part of the Haitian culture. But it's also a very spiritual, ancestral thing. Unfortunately, the Haitian people have lost their way. We're not going to get into Haiti tonight because y'all know I'm the leading activist for the rights of my Haitian people. And it's unfortunate what I'm seeing today, but I feel like there should be a turnaround soon. I've heard something about spiritually, these numbers and these years coming forward is going to lead to a change. Don't hold me on that, but that's what I'm hearing. But either way, you're going to, Pablo Blanco is going to your nation in August, correct? You said, or in September?
Well, it's going to be in August, in which my community, well, my family rather, they're going to be having a sacred healing ceremony called the Dugu, Dugu, and that's going to be paying reverence to our ancestors.
All right. All right. And that's going to be a very powerful moment, I'm assuming, for you, for sure.
Yes, I want to touch on the point of voodoo.
Ooh,
You know,
talk about it. Thomas,
the
you listening? Thomas, you listening? Thank you.
The Haitian community are descendants of the Benin Kingdom, which was
Correct.
known as the Dahomey, and they're very spiritually enlightened people. And I think there's a connection to the Dogon as well. So, you know, when you talk about voodoo, I mean, that's what the white supremacists people believe in. I mean, that's something that they would say. That's their talking point. I mean, that doesn't necessarily apply to the Haitian people. I mean, I think that like the Garifuna and the Haitian people, we have our own cultural idiosyncrasy in which we should be allowed to practice our worldview.
Correct.
Without being overly critical, because that's just the way that we do things.
Correct.
You know, and we should be accepted for that. We shouldn't have to explain to why we splitting chickens and sacrificing different animals. We shouldn't have to do that because that's part of our own cultural idiosyncrasy.
And that's what I wanted to share. They do it. They practice it all throughout the Bible until, quote unquote, Jesus got here. And made them stop shedding the blood. But if you notice something, even in the Bible, and for all of you Christians out there, don't come for me. I'm not coming for you. I'm just telling you, because I've had so much time to reflect on everything I'm about to say. When I started looking at the ancestral powers that we have and what we were able to do in overcoming Bolivar and you know, the other short little white man that had a problem with us for all these years, and then they took all of our money, trillions of dollars from the Haitian people because we Napoleon or whatever. Here's the thing. Haitians and other islands, they sacrificed. That's what they did in the Bible. If you notice, the first 5 books of the Bible come from where? Like literally the Torah, which is Jewish practices, which is the chosen people, where they literally did these things. And I haven't gone any deeper because I tried to be Jewish for a little bit to figure out this whole Jewish thing. It didn't work with me at all. But I know they're very powerful because they have their religious practices. Nobody checks for them. They do what they want. They have their Sabbath and their days. You know, what's very strange to me is even touching things on the Saturday. Do you know at 12 o'clock in the morning or 12 a.m. Friday night to the next day or whatever, till Sunday, they don't even turn on a stove. When they go to their synagogues or whatever it's called, they do not even sit next to the opposite sex, and they don't even bring a purse or a key or anything inside. These are things, and I have to share this publicly, they could be called voodooistic or ritualistic type of practices, but nobody checks for them because they're quote unquote the chosen people. Now, who made them the chosen people, right? So all of these things have their places, but us as a Black people, we're always at the bottom of the totem pole, and we believe all the crap that other people have told us. And that's why we haven't gotten as far as other communities.
Well, Sister Anaya, I got to make this point about the Jewish people because they set up frameworks, structures, institutions to support their worldview. You know, and you asked a question before in regards to why it took us so long, the Garifuna people took us so long. I mean, we've been under attack since we got to Honduras. I mean, we settled on 48 communities, but even though we were part of the revolution of Honduras with Francisco Morazan, who had a Garifuna chief as his like second guy in charge, we were never part of the dominant society in Honduras. We were always marginalized as a people. Even till now, we don't even have like paved roads going into many Garifuna communities.
You're
We're not accepted in that society.
and they always make it seem like that's what I'm saying. I grew up around these people from Honduras and all the Central America. I mean, pupusas is one of my favorite meals coming from somebody in the Central America area with the little salad on the side. Honey, that stuff is so good. But anyway, I never, I was like blown away. Selena is the other sister. So Selena and Shani Herrera, they're sisters. They were
Right.
the first Garifunas that helped me understand that this is a whole thing. And I met Cynthia, who looks, she could be like my sister. We are the same complexion. Selena and Shani a little lighter. And then it was like from one Garifuna to the next. And I'm like, what's happening here? Like Central America has Black people, but again, it's classism, it's racism, it's colorism, because you all are a sect that nobody wants you to know about, if that makes sense.
We're the inconvenient truth. Like the Garifuna experience is an inconvenient truth to white supremacy because we were never dominated as a people. Like in today's terms, we with the shits, if you will.
We resisted and we
In
persevered. Basically, we
excuse the
resisted
term.
and persevered, my sister.
You persevered. They took you off 5,000 and they put you on some
We're
chips
still here today.
and you still here today. They thought they could kill y'all. We don't die, we multiply.
Multiply.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly. So you can't, you know, we are very strong-willed and determined people.
Yes.
You know, that's one thing that I could say about Garifuna people. Very strong-willed and determined because to preserve our language, which
Correct.
was cultivated over several years, you know, and we still maintain it. Meanwhile, other indigenous communities from the Caribbean have lost their language altogether.
Altogether.
You know, let's speak facts right now.
Talk
They
facts.
lost their language. They don't even know themselves at all because the language is the rails to the culture. And we still have that language. And that's why our culture is still intact because of the language.
Interesting.
And also, it's documented that in May 11th, UNESCO did a proclamation that the Garifuna language and culture was an oral and intangible heritage to humanity.
Wow.
Yes. And I also wanted to add that in terms of the Caribbean connection, when they were building the Panama Canal, they had Caribbean men from Barbados, Jamaica, they imported them to work at the in the construction of the Panama Canal, and they also had Garifuna men from various Garifuna villages or Garifuna communities in Guatemala and Belize. And that's how my name became Colon, because my grandfather worked in Colon, Panama.
That's it.
And so we had that interconnection of brotherhood and sisterhood and intermingling of our Caribbean folks and Garifuna in Panama. Subsequently, after the Panama Canal was built, our men moved back into their communities and continued their family.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I learned a little something I just wanted to share. I'm gonna mess it up, so y'all correct me. All boo amuru new. And in English, that says, I am yours and you are mine. Apparently, that's your motto. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, that's a commandment.
Amuru nu. I for you, you for me.
Okay, was I close, guys? Was I
Yeah, that was close. That was close.
You was close.
Very close. Close enough.
Close enough.
So that's a commandment in our spirituality system, sister.
Oh.
That's the sole commandment for us to treat each other as family.
Yes, as one.
And respect each other.
Yes.
Based on humanity.
Yes, me for you.
Not on
you for
class
me.
or status. It's a mutual respect amongst each other. So that's our sole tenet. I know that the Bible has like the 12 commandments and
Right.
the 42 laws of Ma'at. For the Garifuna community, is only one commandment. Amuru no nugiyabun. Aurabuni, amuru buni.
Right.
So I for you, you for me. So with that particular tenet, as a community, we organize ourselves socially, politically, and economically. A lot of people don't know this, but the Garifuna people, the Garifuna chiefs, rather, were millionaires in St. Vincent in the 1700s.
In the 1700s.
Yes, and I visited the community of Owea in St. Vincent, and I saw the manufacturing point of the industries that the Garifuna had. They had huge plantations. You know, we're still researching that fact, but we know that we traded a lot with the Garifuna people, or the French people rather, in Saint Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe.
Yeah, and the Dominica would be the Caribs, or they have the Carib Reserve, but they are also referred to as Kalinago. They call themselves the Kalinago. And also for your edification, the Arawak is also a derogatory term. Arawak is, they refer to themselves as the Lokono people. So it's not really, they don't like to be referred to as Arawak, but it's the Lokono people.
Wow.
So, Sister Anaya, I want to show you, this is a gift that I got recently from the Kalinago people of Dominica. This is a basket made on the Kalinago territory.
Kalinago territory.
Yes, they are our cultural cousins.
Oh.
Right.
So this is what the basket looks like.
Right.
So this is a basket from the Garifuna community. Look at the similarity between the Kalinago,
the basket weaving. Yeah, we have
and the Garifuna.
Same.
It's practically the same. We're the same people.
Just a little color difference. There's a little difference in
Right.
it.
They add a little flavor.
There you go. Add a little flavor. I'm telling you, this is so amazing what we're learning tonight. I am just so blessed and highly favored by everything. You know, the people have been watching and they stayed with us the whole time. And I'm so happy that they did. I just want to know, what else do you want to share that we haven't touched on this evening? Because as you know, this is the Motivational Monday show. And it's so powerful that you all have all this information and you're just such a wealth of knowledge. What's next for you guys? Where can people meet you, greet you? How can they stay in touch with you? All of that jazz.
So what I want to propose to the community that's currently watching us is think of the idea that Marcus Garvey had, in which he had the Black Star Line, and he had this idea of Africans in the Western Hemisphere trading amongst each other, like the Caribbean islands trading with the Africans in mainland America,
right,
Central America, and South America. That would be the end game. So I propose for us to build these states, or support the building of these states, so we could trade amongst each other and not have to deal with the white establishment or the nation governments where we are oppressed.
Correct.
So that's something that we have to constantly have our minds wrapped around, because I feel, well, for my analysis, that we're still under constant oppression, and our war is very intricate, Sister Anaya. It's spiritual, it's psychological, it's economic, it's social, it's political. So we have to be mindful of all these different components, because as Black people on this side of the world, we all suffer from the same war. We're not different from each other. A lot of people want to think that we're different, but we're not. The Garifuna experience is just one more aspect of the overall Black diaspora experience.
Absolutely.
We have the same commonality with other African descendant people on the Western Hemisphere, and we're under attack constantly. So the Garifuna people showed the example of the liberation through our Ugolendo spiritual system. That's how we organize ourselves. But there are other communities, such as the Maroons of Jamaica, that they still retain their land. The Maroons of Suriname as well. They still had that fight in them, like the Garifuna had. And I'm proposing the rest of the community to understand how all of this works in unison, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to liberate ourselves.
Yes.
Right now, we're still under bondage. Whether a lot of African descendant people want to admit it or not, we're still in bondage.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want everyone to keep that in mind.
And where can people find you, Mr. Pablo Blanco, real quick? And then we're going to take Mr. Kwabena.
Well, I'm on, you can go to my website, Pablo Blanco Online. That has all my social media information. So you could contact me through there. And I also manage the pages, the web pages of Garifuna Nation and Garifuna University Without Wall.
Oh,
so
excellent.
GarifunaNation.org is the website for the organization. And for the educational arm of Garifuna University Without Walls is GariU, I'm gonna spell it out, www.gariuww.org. So they could find me on there, or they could message me on my website, Pablo Blanco Online.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Mr. Kwabena.
Alex Quavina Cologne, thank you very
I-
much.
Oh, sorry, I just say the Kwabena because that's what I'm
I
familiar with.
hear you, that's fine. it's still me, my sister. It's
Yes,
all
okay.
good.
Alex Kwabena Cologne, he don't play about that
Yes,
name.
my sister. Right. I would say that in like manner, or to complement my brother Pablo, we need to establish ourselves as free, as part of our freedom. Free, of course, stands for liberated. Dome is your mind. So we need to have a liberated mind. Freedom is a liberated mind, a liberated spirit. So we can think locally and help ourselves locally, and also think globally, where
Yes,
we can help each other globally, because there's a global experience now that we're interconnected in all facets of life.
absolutely. And where can people find you? And I think you have an up and coming event, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Alex Kwabena Cologne.
Yes, yes, we have. Of course, I'm also available on Facebook, and as part of the Garifuna Nation, also on the Garifuna Nation website. And I'm also a musician and artist, so you can also see I also involved in the various activities in the Garifuna community, along with my partner and relative in artist, Garifuna artist James Love June 12th
Love it.
Arts. So all are invited to that event.
Repeat that information one more time and say it a little louder.
Jamaica Performing Arts in Queens, June 12th.
June 12th, okay.
Along with the ambassadors, they're having an event at the Jamaica Performing Arts in Queens, Saturday, June 12th.
I also want to plug. Oh, are you done, brother?
And then also for Caribbean Festival, I'm also going to be part of I'll also have performing with that group also. It's Bodoma and his music and dances at the Caribbean Festival in Camden, New Jersey. That's the Caribbean Festival in Camden, New Jersey on July 9th.
July 9th. Excellent.
I forgot to mention, Sister Naya, I manage a band in which we're it's the Garifuna, traditional Garifuna music revival movement. And Bodoma, the band, Bodoma Garifuna Culture Band is the band that I manage. And I'm working with them in raising awareness about our traditional rhythms.
Yes.
So I'm very big on culture and music. I also want to plug the tribute to the ancestors.
Correct.
Alex and I participated several years ago in which we were partaking in the drumming component, and we're gonna be there this weekend, and it starts.
Yeah, 27 at Coney Island Boardwalk in Brooklyn.
Oh, excellent. That's going to be in Brooklyn this weekend, Coney Island. What
Boardwalk.
time, guys? What time?
12. It starts at 12 noon to 7 in the evening.
Excellent.
Tribute to the ancestors.
A tribute to the ancestors.
Correct.
Well, I am super and things of that nature. The music already told me a while ago. So for those of you who are watching, I just want to up real quick because and stated I'm very interconnected to all sorts of dance types and things like that. From when we we're girl, the Haitian people, they teach us, to do the salsa, many different types of music from around the world as little people. And that's very fascinating. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's because we're so interconnected. But as I got older, I found out about the other type. And I was about 20. I was damn it near 30 when I found out about them. And if you guys don't know what that dance is, just get really drunk before you try it. Don't quote me and don't try to fight me after you fall down a few times. But this dance is really intriguing. I think it's a part of your people as well. The punta is very, very fast and very beautiful. That brother Alex Kwabena shared with me. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up because I believe this is a very powerful thing that he shared with me recently. And I've shared this because this is the native or Lavelle. I thought that was an American person. So hold on, my brother, 1 second. James Lavelle. He's still here. Hold on, let me pull that up for you. As we close out, let's share some powerful Garifuna Bye. Quick. Oh, what's going on now? Okay, there it goes. All right, here we go. Hang on. Ready to go. Brother Garifuna, is that you, Brother Garifuna, here with the hat? Yes?
Yes, that's me.
I'll end in a positive,
Oh,
upbeat way. And I wanted to close out with this little video clip here. And I think it's at this.
yes,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You could share real
Washington,
quick.
D.C., Smithsonian Museum.
I'm sorry?
Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. for Black History Month.
Oh, okay. Smithsonian Museum, Washington, D.C.
Black History Month.
Perfect. Anything else you want to share about this before I let you all go and we continue to play this for a few more minutes?
You can see the dynamism of the culture, dance, and music. Just play.
All right, let's play it. We're going to do a few minutes of that. And thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Keep sharing and watch. Thank you, Pablo Blanco, for your cooperation and your support this evening. So all and let's close out with a great vibe on tonight. Thank you all so much. Let's watch them in action. Black and white right there, honey. There go my sisters. Hey, girls. Hey. Blessings, Summit.
How you feeling? Thank you. Appreciate that. Lift every voice and sing. Oftentimes referred to as a Black American, now a poem by James Weldon Johnson. Give it up. It is with great respect, Black History Month, with this hymn done in Garifuna. It is a reminder that as Black people around the world, our struggle were the same. I implore you, let's stand and join hands. Thank you. Iurawame, wamalali, lulagapuni wa ubomako, are luwa kudarangila. Iurawame, wamalali, segala kesielu ruku, agambu ala ogabara. Arebu awama luwa wala miserule wasugurbe. Arebu awama luwa kubuinu liyami wa saguli yuruwe aba iseri we wa machara dari mewaga yeru. Iurawame, wamalali, lulagabu,
people,
luwa kudarangila. Iurawame, wamalali, kusieru, agambu wala, keisile, rokabara. Thank you.
oh my God. Our Black people, we shall rise, shall rise.
They stayed on that island for 8 long weary months. Half of them perished, exiled to Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. The Garifuna are found in major cities in these United States. My people, Garif voice, let us show the world that we are here to stay. Seleme wakuji, sumpinga bakute. Ani hakuwa arasa garina kukubo. Singa bakute. Ani hakuwa arasa garina kukubo. Seleme wanyalo, seleme wanyalo. Luwakula sal, seleme wanyalo, seleme wanyalo. Luwakula sal barumi wa.
Wow.
Mabule nawame, mabule nawame,
So emotional.
mabule nawame, mabule nawame, mabule nawame, mabule nawame. Uitime hala, yara yume, ida aba wakushina, aba giriya, aba
Mm. Woo, okay, guys, I gotta stop. I'm getting all the emotions tonight. I can go and oh my God, you got me all crying here. Wow, I mean, Anganaya, I feel the ancestors. I feel the love, and when I hear this, it's just like our people have been through so much.
Yes,
Yet
the song is entitled "Our Sad Experience." Actually,
we still fight. We still fight, and you guys are still.
And we still persevere, my sister, and move on.
I'm sorry, I gotta move. I mean, like, oh my God, that gave me chills. You know,
Brother, I mean, sister Anaya, it's not just you, because one of the sisters from the Gullah Geechee community, when we start our drumming, especially our ancestral drumming and songs, this sister, she goes into trance.
wow.
And she's in the Gullah Geechee community, which is connected to Sierra Leone
Yeah.
and that region of Africa. So it's just not you. That I've seen other Garifuna people, and through my performances with the band and other bands in the Garifuna community, the way that the Black diaspora reacts to us is similar to you. So this is not new to us.
I'm like, people are probably watching, like, why are you crying and singing? But you feel the connection, and then for him to break down, like, when I listen to our Black anthem, and what it represents and what the Black people have experienced, and then learning your history now, and it's like we have overcome.
It came full circle. 360.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Your language is beautiful, your people, your strength. And my prayer is more people learn and grow with us, because I'm a part of the Garifuna people now. You have adopted me. I didn't know if you knew that.
Of course.
Of course. And
of course, your extended family, honoring.
Yes, we're going to continue to work together, and we're going to see how this thing pans out for the people, and hopefully more people will join forces, because until we rise again, I don't see how this country can ever come out of the mess that it's in. I strongly feel sometimes that America is being paid back for a lot of the wickedness, and that's where I'm gonna close. Listen, guys, you have tuned in. You guys can go and look for yourself for Mr. James Lavelle, excuse me. They played and performed at the Smithsonian, I think in 2017. Let me just give you the exact information. If you want to continue watching that, get ready. You will get chills. It says on YouTube, Native Sounds Concert with James Lavelle, and in parentheses, you see Garifuna. If you Google anything Garifuna, you will be amazed and blown away by these incredible people. Don't forget to support them. You've heard their information. You know where to find them. If you cannot find these brothers, come back to Anaya A. I'll personally get you guys some kind of connection for sure. Mr. G, who's been supporting all night, he says, classic show tonight. I have goosebumps. That's coming from Mr. G. I mean, if you don't know who Mr. G is, Google him. If you missed my show a couple weeks ago, shame on you. But Mr. G is the truth. He's the GOAT out here, you know. And one thing I love, and I have to share about Mr. G, yes, and somebody said it earlier, he has taken your culture and exposed it to the communities. And what I love about that is bringing the Black nations together in such a powerful way. Through the click of a camera, honey. If y'all know his story, I need y'all to go and check out Mr. G. I'm not going to tell you nothing else about this brother. Check it out and see how God is putting us all together for such a time as this. Guys, I had so much fun with you. I mean, I did not expect to get all emotional and teary-eyed, but your people and your story is so profound. And it's my prayer that we stay connected in every sense of the word.
Absolutely, sister. It was a pleasure being with you and the rest of the community and us, thanking us and rather thanking you for allowing us to share our story. So peace upon to you, my sister, and brother Alex as well.
Yes, Hotep, my sister Naya, thank you for
L'union fait la force.
yes. Thank you. I'm honored to be in your presence and in the presence of our ancestors making this happen today. And of course, you know, have a healthy baby, of course, and be strong, my sister. And thank you for your energy and your spirit, and thank you for your audience. And your participation was well, you know, due and informed, and we're pleased to be part of that enlightenment. Thank you.
Absolutely. Merci beaucoup. Ma parle aussi créole avec nous.
Merci beaucoup.
Dieu, aidez-nous, travaillez avec nous.
Bonsoir, bonsoir.
On allait, on allait.
Naboulé.
Haiti Bobo.
Aye, Bobo.
Aye, Bobo.
More power to the people.
Good night, guys. I love you.
No, love you all.
All right.
Great.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, we did it, guys. Woo!